Mel B's had an amazing roller coaster life. The Spice Girls, talent shows, but behind the scenes, a few marriages, a lot of drama, drugs and suicide attempts.
Watch it!
I have had highs, lows, a lot of laughs, a lot of tears.
She's such an open book.
I do talk a lot.
This is about girl power.
This should be perfect, right?
With Scary Spice, anything can happen.
I've got bigger balls than he has. Not literally, but you know what I mean.
Good luck. 10 years I've tried to get you to do this.
You have.
Finally, you've succumbed to my advances. Why?
Why not? I'm ready to tell the truth and just be me.
Are you Mel B tonight? Are you Scary Spice? Are you Melanie Brown? What are you?
Everything.
All of them?
All of them.
Are
yeah.
they different people?
No, it's the same person. What you see is what you get with me. You know, I shoot from the hip. I'm a northern girl at the end of the day, from a council estate.
Well, that's the thing. It's an extraordinary story. You know, you're this girl who came from, you know, a very humble background, mixed-race parents, which was not easy, and to then very quickly propel yourself to become one of the biggest pop stars on the planet is a remarkable... Well, it's true. I mean, Spice Girls are the most successful female band of all time. You're the female Beatles.
I like that.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, I think it was all a bit of a whirlwind, but between us five, we were just 5 girls having fun, touring the world, spreading girl power.
How close are you to the other girls? Because one's here,
Yes.
Mel C, but what about the others?
Well, I saw Jerry last night. Oh, God, Mel. Oh.
You can't take a camel to the Oasis and not give it a drink. What happened?
Well, I had to have a shoe fitting. Jerry was very persistent, as she is. I'm coming over at 7. I said, no, I've got my daughter here and I've got the shoe fitting. Have you been fitted for your shoes yet for the tour?
I'm not wearing trainers.
You still need to be fitted.
For trainers?
Yeah?
I'm just going down.
Sorry.
I'm
Excuse me.
Sorry.
I'm literally sitting here.
Sorry.
Interviewing you.
So I had a couple of hours having my shoe
Clearly,
fitting.
I mean, you two are clearly good mates then.
Of course we are.
Right?
Yes.
But Jerry...
I mean, I love Jerry to bits. Are you kidding me? But she's batshit crazy. But I adore her. I absolutely love her.
I mean,
and then
no
Emma...
disrespect, but for you to be calling somebody else batshit crazy...
You say I'm crazy in just like a humble northern way. Jerry's crazy in a different way, but she's very intelligent. But we love her for that, don't we, Mel?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Baby, presumably, is just lovely, right? Everyone
She is.
agrees with
Sweetheart, yeah.
that. One of the nicest people you'd ever meet. Posh?
Bit of a bitch, but I love her. I knew you were going to ask me that.
Oh! How does that manifest itself?
Well, I mean, us 5 were together, and now we're going on tour as 4. I'm gutted she's not going to be with us. But I'm still going to hold that candle and hope that she will be.
If I could trap you on a desert island for the rest of your life with one other Spice Girl, and I agree it's a bit awkward because one's in the room.
Well, I've got, like, 4 great options.
You can only have one.
You would survive with Mel C because she's very practical and she'd just help you live. You know what I mean?
Would it be Mel C?
No, I haven't finished yet. Emma would be good to be able to sleep at night because she's very cuddly and very mumsy and warm. Jerry would be good if you were bored because she just wanted to talk. Victoria would be good because maybe she'd, like, pay for somebody to fly a jet over to rescue us. So, I mean, my options are very far and, you know, a lot.
But come on, you can have one. You've been through the options, you've weighed them all up.
I'm not going to, because we started off as a group and we will survive as a group. I don't have to choose one.
When you were in the Spice Girls, apparently when you asked for room service, Mel C would answer the door in a T-shirt, Emma, Jerry and Victoria would be in bras and pants. You would walk in completely naked
Yeah.
and accidentally drop the towel.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yeah, because I find that funny. Wouldn't you find that funny? To walk in as the room service guy or girl,
Yeah.
and you meet one Spice Girl, then another one, and the clothes get less and less and less, then, oops, bingo, here I am. Let me sign that.
Is there anything you don't like about your appearance? Is it all what you were born with?
Come on, you know it's not.
Let's go through the charge list. Boob job?
Well, you can say it in a nicer way. Breast augmentation.
Apologies. Have you had breast augmentation?
That is correct.
Any other, like, surgical stuff?
I've had a few nip and tucks. That did not sound right, did it?
We're coming to your boyfriend in a minute. Mel, you're a global superstar, and others want to be just like you.
Are you all ready? I'm Melanie B and I'm a northern nutter.
Mel B, the straight-talking northerner who became one of the biggest pop stars on the planet.
She's authentic and she's real and she's hard work.
You look like a pop star.
Thank you.
You don't sound like one.
That was a bit harsh.
She'd say things that people were thinking but would never say.
She is really scary.
As Scary Spice, she hit the heights of showbiz.
They became a worldwide, massive mega act.
Spice Mania was phenomenal.
And her turbulent personal life has also hit the headlines.
She's made a lot of mistakes with men.
Melanie baffles me when it comes to relationships. She's often made really shit choices.
Melanie was born in 1975 in Leeds to mum Andrea and dad Martin, who was from the Caribbean island of Nevis.
I'm sat with this baby on my knee, and Martin's family were saying she's never going to fit in. You've had this baby and it's not black and it's not white. I thought, how can they say that? She's so gorgeous.
We grew up with a black side of our family and a white side of our family. It was normal to us to call black grandma and white grandma.
Our parents lived on the same street. We was the only two that had, like, the white mother and the black father.
When Mel was growing up, racism was rife.
Every few weeks there would be a National Front march. We were terrified of, like, going into town. There was a club, and there was a point where they wouldn't let no black people in that club.
Mel's dad was determined his children would be successful.
My dad was very, like, all about education. He was the only parent in mine and Melanie's school that he used to get a printout of our attendance. I think my dad wanted us both to be doctors.
But young Melanie had other ambitions.
Melanie loved dancing. It took over all our lives, really.
She put all her heart into it. You could depend on her to always give a good performance.
In 1994, Mel spotted a newspaper ad for a new girl band and went along to the audition. She got the gig, and with Mel C, Jerry, Emma and Victoria, the Spice Girls were born, with the group living and working together 24/7.
Well, we eat, sleep and drink it, really. We all live together.
She had a double bed and I had a little single at the side of it.
The hard work paid off, and in 1996, the Spice Girls had their first #1 hit with Wannabe.
They just captured the public's imagination and every young kid wanted to be a Spice Girl.
The band sold 85 million records worldwide and became the biggest female group of all time.
It was like Beatlemania. These girls had something to say.
This is about girl power, so come on!
They weren't listening to a record company or to management or to anybody.
I want to ask you a question. Can we come to dinner, please?
I wish my mom still had the same style in the 90s, because she looked so cool.
What do you think of the Spice Girls? Watch it, she stood next to me.
Please, you know, these are my heroines.
Mel B was definitely a role model for young Afro-Caribbean girls. There weren't many around in the music business.
She was just so unapologetically herself. Growing up, I hated my hair. I hated my curls. And I would always straighten it on the ironing board. To see someone like that in her position, celebrating her natural hair. Yeah,
Mel B can rock her curls, then I'm gonna rock mine.
She's brave. I really look up to her and I'm really proud.
It's interesting that's made you quite emotional, that.
Yeah, yeah.
Why?
Because you don't... until you see yourself like that, you don't really realise the influence that you've had on other people, especially other mixed-race girls.
It wouldn't have been easy for you to grow up in Leeds at that period of time with a white mother and a black father.
No, it wasn't easy for my mum and dad. I mean, my mum would hand me to my father when they took the bus just to stop him from possibly being beaten up by racists. You know, so I'd get chased home from school being called the worst words. They called me nigger, packy, oh, God, half-breed, red-skinned, just very derogatory words. And I used to say, well, I'm not any of those. I'm mixed race. I have the best of both worlds. I'm black and I am white. I said to my mum and dad, they've done it again. And what did they say? Sort your own fights out. So, yeah.
There was a club in Leeds, as Cherelle said in the VT, that didn't allow black members.
Yes.
And your dad tried to join and they wouldn't let him.
Oh, no, they wouldn't let him because he was black.
You went back when one of you went to #1, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
What did you say to them?
I said, I'm going to buy this place. I said, you. I just felt very alone. I just didn't want to live anymore.
The Spice Girls sold 85 million records. That's extraordinary, isn't it?
Just sounds crazy when you just put that number out there like that, for that to be a fact, that us five, that against all odds, writing our own music, borrowing money off people, living off beans and toast, and then we've got that. It kind of makes me a bit stuttery.
In 1998, the Spice Girls were booked to appear on the National Lottery. Only there was a problem. One didn't turn up. Jerry had gone.
I was so sad. And I was really, really, really angry. Because we started this together, us five. And it wasn't meant to happen if it's not us five. And she left the day before my birthday just to really stick it to me. What a bitch.
How long did it take you to forgive her?
I don't think I actually properly have.
Even now?
Yeah, and I still remind her of it. I mean, she was round yesterday and I still said to her, why did you leave, really? Why did you leave?
Really?
It bothers me because we're so solid in... and we know each other inside out as five girls.
Let's go back to where it all started for you. You were born Melanie Janine Brown in Leeds in 1975. What was life like for the Brown family away from racial tensions?
It was fun. My mum and dad kind of had the reverse roles. Like, my dad would do all the cooking and the food shopping. My mum would do all the DIY and, like, artexing. For some reason, my mum was really into artexing. Like, artex would be everywhere. Ceilings, walls, everything.
They had to work hard, your parents. Your mum worked as a sales assistant in C&A, took on other part-time jobs, working in a chip shop, cleaning loos in old people's homes.
Yeah. They worked hard.
A lot of sacrifice they made, both of them, for you.
A lot. And I think that's where I get my work ethic from, because I saw my mum and dad work constantly.
Your dad was also quite a disciplinarian, wasn't
he was very much, my dad, about education, education. That is the only way. So we would get punished, you know, if we didn't have good grades or if we didn't come home with a good report, that all hell would break loose.
And he would physically punish you as well?
Oh, yeah. Over his knee, bash, bosh, bosh. And he used to say, just get it over and done with now. That was back in the day when it was accepted that you could hit your kids.
Your mum threw your dad out at one point. He went to live in a flat. you didn't take that well.
No.
Had a real effect on you.
Yeah, I developed a stutter, really, really bad, from my dad not being there, because I didn't understand why he left. I was still a kid, but it affected me so bad, and I started to have a stutter, a bit like what I'm getting a bit now. But yeah, it was bad, and I used to have to slap my leg to get the word out, just like my dad used to do.
If you're 14 and you're feeling rebellious and your dad's punishing you and it's all just becoming a bit tumultuous for you, and you try and take your own life, what happened?
Nothing really bad happened to me. There wasn't an incident at home or at school. I just felt like I didn't belong. I just felt very alone. I just didn't want to live anymore.
What did you do?
I took a bunch of aspirin. And then my mum that night randomly had a headache and realised that I'd taken them all and took me off to the hospital within seconds to go and get my stomach pumped. And it was never really talked about. It was like brushed under the carpet. And to be honest, in some strange way, I'm glad that they didn't really talk about it because I didn't really have an answer. It was just one of those things. I didn't feel like I belonged.
Let's go to the next VT. Mel, you've been a champion of girl power from the very beginning. From an early age, Mel stood up from the crowd.
Clothes-wise, she was very daring. She'd always wear something completely different to all her friends.
She'd come down the stairs in the tiniest little shorts, literally what we call batty riders, like little bra top. She looked drop-dead gorgeous. But then it spent my whole evening then fighting off the Pied Piper of men behind us while we're walking down the street.
Attracting men was never a problem for Mel. Finding the right man was another matter.
Melanie falls in love far too quickly. I think most girls do that, and then they sort of pull back. But with Melanie, she sort of just keeps going.
She's that desperate sometimes to feel loved. It just goes wrong, you know. I just wish I could choose the men for her, maybe.
On the Spice Girls World Tour in 1998, Mel began a relationship with her backing dancer, Jimmy Gulzar. Jimmy joined Mel in the video for her first project outside the Spice Girls, a collaboration with Missy Elliott, which went straight to #1.
He had a great body. He ticked all the boxes she wanted as a man in her life.
They seemed to be madly in love, but I just thought it were all too quick.
After dating for just 2 months, Jimmy proposed and the couple married in September of that year.
I did actually ask him, do you love Melanie? He just looked at me shocked that I'd actually asked him.
Just 5 months later, Mel gave birth to the first Spice child, Phoenix Chi.
I'm sure that Victoria was due before Melanie, but in true Melanie style, she got in there first.
The cracks in the relationship were beginning to show.
There was a huge difference between their personalities.
After less than 2 years of marriage, Mel divorced Jimmy and moved to Los Angeles, where in 2006 she met comedian Eddie Murphy. It was love at first sight.
Just thought, Eddie Murphy? The Eddie Murphy? Like, and she went, yeah, I'm seeing it. I said, what's his house like?
It wasn't long before Mel introduced Eddie to her daughter, Phoenix.
I thought Eddie was cool. I mean, he was Shrek. In Shrek, he was Donkey. So, like, every kid loves Donkey. I don't know, I thought he was cool. He was a cool guy, he was funny.
And I think she really, really did like Eddie. I think she would say it was like a bit of the love of her life, really, if I'm honest.
Mel was soon pregnant again, but following an argument about their living arrangements, she got on a plane to Leeds to have some space.
Just had a disagreement or whatever. And instead of just going home for a night, she came to England to her mum's, and he was ringing her mum, he was ringing everyone. He was trying to get hold of her.
Eddie found my number and he rang me really late in the night. And he did say to me, I adored Melanie. He was madly in love with her. He said, do anything.
I don't understand why it went so wrong, to be honest. I think it just blew up out of nowhere, but it was a horrible time.
Mel went back to LA to reunite with Eddie. But when she arrived, she discovered he dropped a bombshell during a press interview.
So are you happy with her because she's pregnant from your child, right?
But now you're being presumptuous. First, we're not together anymore, and we don't know whose child that is till it comes out and has a blood test. You shouldn't jump to conclusions, sir.
When Mel arrived back at Los Angeles airport, 5 months pregnant, she was greeted by the world's press.
I think Eddie was angry with Melanie because she rejected him.
In April 2007, Mel gave birth to a daughter, Angel. A paternity test followed.
We are asking the court to legally establish Eddie Murphy as the father of Melanie and Eddie's baby.
I'm not quite sure why she ends up left heartbroken. As much as, yeah, she's strong and she's got the fame, she's got the success, she also just wants a normal relationship, and it's really hard for her to find that.
You visibly recoiled when you heard Eddie Murphy again say those words in that interview, which were very hurtful, whatever the circumstances.
Well, of course, it's not a nice thing to hear. We were both to blame. I wouldn't have said that publicly, and he apologises to this day about that, because that baby was planned. We planned that baby together, and we were madly in love. And it just went wrong. Dramatically went wrong.
Your friend Charlotte thought that he was the love of your life.
No, he is. He always will be.
If you hadn't fled home and then frozen him out in the way that you did, do you think that it may have been a different story, that you might still be together?
I don't think you can say that, because it is what it is. And I expected him, you know, like I'm the true romantic kind of love story kind of girl. I wanted him to come find me. Yes.
You expected Eddie Murphy...
All I did was call my mum.
You thought Eddie Murphy would leave Los Angeles and come to Leeds?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
As he would say in Beverly Hills Cop, get the fuck out of here! That was never going to happen.
Well, it didn't. It didn't.
Do you think, does any part of you think that if he was to be a single guy again...
Stop it.
I haven't said anything yet.
I know what you're going to say.
What's the answer? I've never known you be speechless about anything in your entire life.
Because I respect his partner,
I get
his
that.
fiancé.
Jimmy, the guy that you married for not very long. I mean, obviously a very good-looking, hunky dancer. Was there much more to it than that when you look back, or...?
I was on tour. It was a whirlwind. It was our second tour. And you just want something normal and just regular. And he provided normal and regular for me. I didn't know it was going to end so disastrous. But one thing I am thankful for is I've got a beautiful 20-year-old daughter from it.
You were coming here to be brutally honest.
I am being brutally honest.
So did you or didn't you with Jerry Halliwell? You described your sex drive as like a Formula One car. How many people have experienced the Formula One Mel B?
I don't think that many people. You know, I've never had a one-night stand. I'm not that kind
Really?
of girl. Shut up! No! No, I'm
Never had a one-night stand?
No.
There's a few famous men whose names I want to throw at you for either confirmation or vehement denial. Peter Andre, obviously, he was your long-time booty call.
Oh, please don't say it like that. He's a really nice guy. He's got
You
a really
called
nice
him-
family. I know I did.
You called him your booty
You know
call.
why? Because he wrote about me in his book. And the Spice Girls didn't know that he was my booty call. So I had to explain it to them that all this time, in different hotels, I would fly him in and then fly him back out.
Zac Efron? No denial?
But no comment.
Right. You've also had relationships with women.
Yeah,
So how would you define your sexuality?
I don't. I don't think I have to. Because you fall in love with whoever you fall in love with. And I just don't have a preference.
There were rumours that you and Jerry were, you know, more than just good friends. You'd had a little dabble. Anything you want to share with the group?
Oh. She had great boobs.
So you did?
Well, not really.
Well, You clearly did, right? Yes? Come on, your
Why
books...
can't you answer for me?
I don't know anything.
Oh, whatever, Melanie!
I don't. This is all new to me.
Come on, your book's called Brutally Honest. You
Yeah.
said you were coming here to be brutally honest.
I am being brutally honest.
So did you or didn't you with Jerry Halliwell?
Well, what do you consider as doing it or not?
Did you sleep with her?
Yeah, we all slept in a bed together. But not like that, all of us.
Did you sleep with Jerry like that? Yes. Really?
She's gonna hate me for this because she's all posh in a country house with her husband. Oh, but it's the past. But it wasn't a thing. It just happened, and we just giggled at it, and that was it.
How many times did it?
Oh, stop it, you pervert.
This is a bombshell. It's a Spice Girls bombshell.
Yeah.
You've never admitted this before. Have you?
Fuck.
You know you haven't. So people are going to be fascinated.
Yeah, and I've said it now.
I know. I just don't know where they go yet. I'm like, you know.
No, because she's going to kill me, and so is her husband. Well, she's not that posh now, is she?
Should we move on?
Yeah.
Yeah, OK. Melanie, amongst some incredible highs, there have been some very dark times too. Just after the birth of Mel's second daughter, Angel, a new man came on the scene. Film producer Stefan Belafonte.
Angel was only about 3 weeks old, and I was worried about Melanie. She was so vulnerable.
He kind of swooped in and wanted to just, like, take over.
I think from very early on, we had concerns about him. I don't ever really meet anybody that met him and initially thought, what a great guy.
After just months together, Stefan and Mel married in Vegas, followed by a family wedding in Egypt.
I was just happy that my mom was there with her family and she was getting married in a beautiful place.
But shortly after they returned, Mel cut off contact with her family.
Melanie came on the phone and I was like, what is going on? She said, please don't call me again. I was like, Melanie? Because it was like this voice and this person don't recognise and I've never heard her speak like that.
Completely cut off. It was horrific for them to be ripped from your lives.
Mel's family wouldn't see her or her children for 6 years.
It sucked because I lost, like, my family.
On the face of it, Mel's career and marriage were going well. She and Stefan even had a reality series, which demonstrated their much talked about volatile relationship.
You're boring. You know what? I was just playing with you anyway. I'm gonna go hang out by myself.
You're a big, needy, bald baby.
Then in 2014, Mel landed a role as a judge on X Factor, and she and Stefan, now with a child of their own, Madison, moved back to Britain. But although the couple were putting on a united front in public, problems in their relationship were taking their toll on Mel.
She drank. She took cocaine.
I knew my mom was sad and was hurting inside, but she's good at hiding it, so I guess not many people knew.
Mel was worried that sex tapes she and Stefan had filmed would be made public. On Thursday, 11th of December 2014, Mel reached rock bottom.
I got a call from Mel's driver to say, we're going to hospital. And obviously I knew immediately something was up. It was just awful when I arrived because it was apparent that she'd obviously tried to take her own life and she was in intensive care.
Mel had taken an overdose, hundreds of aspirin tablets. It wasn't long before the press got hold of the story. Mel's mum, who hadn't seen her in 6 years, tried to contact her.
I heard in the press that Melanie were in hospital. I was traumatised.
Mum and Dad was just screaming the house down.
Mel was due to appear on the X Factor the following day, but was replaced at the last minute by Talisa Kontostavlos.
I remember thinking, where's Mel?
There had to be something seriously wrong.
None of us really knew what was going on, but we knew that whatever it wasn't good.
Sunday was the live results show.
All the doctors were advising that she didn't leave the hospital, but she was absolutely adamant that she was going to do the show.
At the last minute, she discharged herself and headed for Wembley Arena.
This is the X Factor final, the results.
She emerges in the white ethereal dress with no wedding ring.
I didn't ask her what was wrong because I kind of knew. I didn't want to ask her. I just said, great to see you.
Mel's family were all watching at home.
She was on there, she was completely broken. I could see her face, she looked in pain. It were heartbreaking to see that. She held her hands up, like as if to say, this is it. It is over.
She hadn't got a ring on, that was a statement to him.
Mel B is back, everyone!
We was, as a family, all really like, she's finally done it, she's left him, we're all going to be together.
You know, I really miss being here.
I had hope. That was my hope. I thought, here we go, she's going to come back. This is it. We're going to be friends again. Everything's going to be normal. Everything's going to be back to normal.
Incredibly difficult time in your life, perhaps the most difficult. Take me back to what made you, for the second time in your life, take an overdose.
I just had enough of such a fake life. My life was great when I was at work because he couldn't get to me. My life was great when I was on the schoolroom with the kids. He couldn't get to me. I genuinely thought, where do I go if I don't go back to him tonight? Where do I go? I was broken.
How many
with
pills?
only one option.
How many pills did you take?
Hundreds.
So you were really trying to kill yourself?
Yeah. And I wrote my note saying, you know, my kids, I want them to go and live and be with my mum.
I mean, for a mum to do this is a really dramatic thing.
Yeah.
Regardless of the background to it. You know, one of your kids is sitting here now listening to this.
Yeah.
That's tough.
It's tough, but for most women in my situation, you don't know what to do.
You took these pills, and when you took the last one, you suddenly felt you didn't want to die.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, my kids, number one. And I felt, I didn't know, it just wasn't my time to go.
Phoenix came to see you in hospital.
Mm-hmm. Well, she just said to me, why would you leave us? And leave us with him? And she was really, really, really angry at me. And I felt so bad. I think that was probably the first time I said to her, I will leave him one day. I promise you. I promise you.
You shouldn't have left hospital. You ripped your own tubes out and you were gone. Got a reckless thing to do.
In hindsight, I guess so, but I had a job to finish and I'd had my stomach pumped and I wanted to go on that stage because I knew I could and I wanted to go like that without a wedding ring and I wanted to make sure that my friends and my family that I had no contact with knew that I was okay on some level.
You had damage to your liver, to your kidneys. There was significant damage.
Yeah.
You were not a well person.
That was my big cry for help. Surely somebody can see what's happening to me. Come and help me, somebody, please.
Was it the catalyst in the end for you getting the strength to leave him?
Well, I went backwards and forwards a few times, and then I'd get threatened with, I'm going to expose the sex tapes, I'm going to ruin your career, you're never going to be hireable, I'm going to tell everybody about how much you drink and how much you do drugs, which, to me, was devastating.
He, as you know, he's emphatically denied a lot of the allegations. He says it's all exaggerated or...
Who cares about him? I'm not going to respond to him at all. My mission is to educate people. I was talking to an MP at 10 Downing Street and I said, just like sex education in schools, they should teach coercive behaviour and what an abusive relationship looks like. She went, we just got that bill passed, it's going in 2020. It's good.
His response to your claims is that you're manufacturing the whole thing with no proof. That's what he says.
I didn't hear a word you said, by the way.
You had tattoos done. Stefan's name tattooed.
I didn't want to get his name tattooed. And then it was one argument and one fight, and he said, we're going to go and get it done tonight. And it wasn't just his name, it was a bloody long sentence.
Saying what?
Stefan, till death do us part, you own my heart. So you can understand why I didn't want to get that tattooed on me.
When you broke up, what did you do with it?
I asked a surgeon friend of mine, I said, can you just cut that part of his name off my body? Because I want to remove him from my life. And that was very symbolic to me. Sounds horrendous.
We've got a picture. That's your skin.
Good.
What are you going to do with that?
I have it in a cabinet. In, like, this
it's like something out
bottle.
of Silence of the Lambs. What are you going to do with it?
No, but you know what it is? That's a reminder to me that I have cut him out of my life. I've left him.
So you're in love again?
No. I'll tell you if I'm in love.
What are you in?
Lust.
How's your love life these days?
I really love myself. A lot.
Have you been dating again? Has that been easy?
I don't think I'm ready to do that. I mean, right now, I'm just very happy with myself and my kids, and that's it.
That's it? Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
You've got that face you've been pulling throughout the interview when we all know that's not it.
No, because I have had a really loving intimacy.
Who with?
I'm telling you.
Really?
Yeah.
You're such an open book.
Yeah, but there's some things... Well, actually, you know everything.
So there is somebody
I
out
don't
there.
think that person should even be talked about. But for me, it's nice because when I left my ex, I couldn't even be touched. I was terrified and paranoid. I'd wake up in nightmares and hot sweats. So for me to actually feel safe with somebody, let me just feel safe for a little bit, and then I'll tell you when I'm comfortable to talk about it.
So you're in love again?
No, I'll tell you if I'm in love.
What are you in?
Lust.
Let's go to the last VT.
Oh, thank God.
In 2017, Mel had been cut off from her family for almost a decade. She was appearing in Chicago on Broadway when they called her with the news that her dad was dying of cancer.
We contacted Melanie and said, you need to come and see your dad.
So she turned up with Phoenix, which it was really, really emotional.
I just came from, you know, school and straight to taking care of my mum with her dad dying and me losing a grandpa and seeing our whole family again. It was hard.
Phoenix, I remember as a 8-9-year-old little girl, you know, to see this tall 19-year-old, like a huge shock, and then see Melanie as well.
She only just made it. It were like he hung on to say that, which were, it was just heartbreaking.
We just hugged and cried it out, and, you know, it was a sad time anyway, and a sad time for her as well. But yeah, we just hugged it out.
And then as soon as he saw Melanie, he lifted his head, and those were his last words, and he just said, I love you. He actually hung on for about 5 days. And, I mean, Melanie even got into bed with him and Danielle, all cuddled.
We just really came together, and yeah, he died the morning, like the day after.
Reunited with her family, in December 2017, Mel divorced Stefan.
She's really ashamed of everything that happened and everything she allowed to happen.
Nobody knows what Melanie was after the divorce. It was really, really bad. She could cry, she could dance, forget about it, and then boom, the pain comes back in her head.
That makes it even more courageous doing what she did, but I think it's been really cathartic.
She began work on a new autobiography, documenting her marriage.
I think it makes a huge difference when there's somebody as universally famous as Mel talking about this issue. It's incredibly brave.
After publishing her book, Mel found a new calling as an ambassador for victims of domestic violence.
My mum's a patron of Women's Aid, which helps a lot of women with abusive relationships.
She went to a hostel in Leeds and she sat on the floor, spoke to these women in a group, and she told them her story.
Everybody really bonded with her, and it meant so much that she'd come into the refuge.
Her stories and her speaking out about them has been very inspiring to other women.
In November 2018, the Spice Girls announced they would be going on tour.
The world's most successful girl group is reuniting.
The Spice Girls are here! Which Spice Girl needs the money the most?
Me, because I'm divorced! We eventually came to a point where 4 of us at least were like, yeah, come on, let's do it. Let's just do it. We're not getting any younger.
Are you going to be recording anything new?
Yes, we're
for the...
recording an album.
Right.
We're going to the studio next week. No, she's fibbing.
She just loves performing. That's why I'm so excited about the tour. That's where she's most comfortable.
Let's see if Mel B behaves herself.
Right. To have the girls back together again, doing what they do best. It's going to be fantastic.
There's a special connection, there's a special relationship with the British public.
You know, all these loyal fans, they're still there.
La, 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 la.
To see them together, it's going to be fantastic.
She's got it all. She's just got to learn to find a way to make it work for her.
For somebody that famous, the highs are unusually high, and then the lows are going to be lower.
I'm not proud because she's famous. I'm proud because of what she's done, where she's been, what she's been through, the ups, the downs, the lows, the highs, the full shebang.
Aww. My best friend.
Your father's death must have been, after all you'd been through, a very difficult time, obviously, but particularly so given all the estrangement that you'd had in the years leading up to it.
Yeah, it was such a shame. When I saw him, he didn't even look anything remotely like how I remember my dad looking like. But he sounded like my dad when he managed to whisper, "I love you."
I mean, that was an amazing thing, that
Yeah.
even in that condition, that was all he said all day, just those 3
Yeah.
words to you.
Yeah.
I felt really bad. Because I hadn't seen him in so long, and then I see him like that. I felt really bad, and I felt really angry at my ex-husband, and I felt really bad for my kids. I've always felt bad, but I couldn't tell him. Right before I said to him, you can go now because I have to go and divorce this monster. And he just looked at me and took his last breath. And that gave me the strength. Because I'm like, I've said it to my dad, so now I have to do it. And I just wish he was here. I just wish I could, you know, just like see him one more time and all that kind of stuff. You know, if only I would have gotten out of that relationship sooner, I could have spent more time with him and more time with my family and not damaged everything in the process. But at least I got to see him and he gave me that strength.
How pleased are you that you and your mum got back together? And
I'm very, very thankful that I can restore my relationship with my mum, my sister, my best friend. I'm glad that I can do that now, freely and lovingly, and we can all start healing together as a family. Can you talk about something happy now?
we're going to. The Spice Girls tour are sold out in seconds. How excited are you?
Oh, my God. It's like I've said it for so many years. It actually fucking happened.
And you're back on stage. How is that moment going to be for you?
Oh, you have no idea. It's actually undescribable. It's like everybody is there in support of you and you're giving them what they want to hear and they're singing it back to you. It's like this free-flowing love, and you're a rock star up there. And you're singing your music that you wrote with your best mate. It feels electric.
The first time round, it kick-started a whole new life for you. In a way, this time, it's the chance to kick-start a whole new life again.
Yeah, in more ways than ever. For me personally, spiritually, physically, mentally, financially, everything. It's like I've hit the jackpot. I am now back to being me, and what better place to be back in than with my girls, Spice Girls.
Mel B, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Britain's Got Talent is live every weeknight this week at 7:30 as you choose which acts make Sunday's live final. And glad rags and handbags at the ready Monday night at 10 in the dramatic series finale of The Real Housewives of Cheshire on ITVB.